Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a 2021 Toyota Supra GR, and today I'm going to review it for you guys. I'm going to give an absolutely massive shout out to Koch 33 Toyota and God, because I've been praying for months that I could get my hands on one of these and be able to review it, and finally the day has come. I am so thankful. So without further ado, let's review it. Before we begin, I want to thank Koch 33 Toyota for allowing me to review this vehicle. For all your Toyota needs, you can visit Koch 33 in Easton, Pennsylvania, right off of Route 33, or at their website, koch33toyota.com. Starting out up front on the Supra, I think Toyota has done an excellent job of bringing this car back and refreshing it. And yes, I know it does part share a lot with BMW. We'll get to that when we kind of move on to the interior. But exterior styling, I think this car is excellent. It's so cool, very flush. I mean, it's so futuristic looking, but still it retains that Supra spirit. It's just awesome. Parking sensors up here at the front, and you're gonna get these really cool long LED turn signals. And you're also going to get this kind of double stack design on the headlights with LEDs. I think that looks really cool, really makes the car look aggressive. If I had to level one complaint about the front of the car, many people already have, is that you have a lot of fake vents on here. I mean, if you're going to get a Supra, you'd like real vents on it, but Toyota has said, oh, well, if you want to tune it and kind of do it in your own way, you can make them real vents. Moving underneath the hood on this brand new 2021 Supra, it is powered by a 3-liter inline 6, making 382 horsepower and 368 foot-pound of torque. Before we move on to the rest of the car, one thing I want to say, this is so, I guess, abnormal because I don't usually review sports cars. The entire top part of the car, the hood, is like all one piece. It's not like split like most of the other vehicles I review, and it's just this gigantic piece. It's so cool. Moving on to the profile of the Supra, you get these 10-spoke 19-inch aluminum wheels. They're fantastic. I really love them on this car. Very, very aggressive. Also, how could you talk about these wheels without talking about these awesome red Brembo brakes that say Supra on them? They are incredible. I think they contrast this white color especially well. You get another fake hood vent here, and then you do get a mirror cap with a turn signal indicator, keyless entry, and as you can see, this truly is right off the truck. The door protector is still on this with the window stickers, so I got this to review literally like right off the truck. Moving to the back here, I absolutely love how it flares inward, how the fenders kind of go out and they're wide and it kind of flares into the cap. I just really think that that's a really cool design element, and it makes the car look very, very sleek. Moving on to the back of the Supra, you're going to get these sick LED taillights back here, dual exhaust. This is actually going to be your reverse light, and then above that, oh, I love it. The Supra font, they kept it from the 90 Supra. I think it looks fantastic. It's really, really cool. I'm glad that this was a carryover. I really think that this retains, the Supra's heritage. Then you also get your GR badge here and your Toyota. One cool thing is from the key fob, you can actually pop the hatch here, and technically I guess this would be considered a hatchback because this pops up. You get a little cargo storage here. Not a lot of storage, 9.8 cubic feet in the back here. Not exactly an SUV though. I don't think many people are buying a Supra because of its storage capacity. Now, this isn't something I normally do, but I figured I would give you guys an exhaust note on this car just because it sounds so amazing. Normally I don't do that because obviously most trucks and SUVs don't have anything to write home about when it comes to the exhaust. But this Supra sure does. So moving on into the interior of the Supra, man, this thing is awesome. Now I'll address the elephant in the room. Yes, there's a lot of crossover, a lot of parts share from BMW, but I mean, a lot of people really like BMWs. I think that's okay. I do wish the shifter was more Toyota-centric because this literally does look like a BMW shifter, just they slapped it in here, as well as the infotainment system controls in here and this little dial we'll get to in a minute. But the steering wheel, that feels very Toyota. The gauge cluster feels very Toyota. So I can give them a pass on that regard. Actually sitting in this car, feeling it, it doesn't
strike me as much BMW as I initially thought it would by the press videos and the stuff that I saw. But overall, I think it's a very, very nice interior, very, very high class. Upper scale. The leather in here is incredible, as you'd expect. There's a 12-speaker JBL system in this car, which absolutely bumps, but since I copyright and stuff, and the speakers on my mic aren't incredible, we can't play anything. But let's get started here. So steering wheel controls, you get all your safety controls on here for the steering wheel. This does have paddle shifters, which is really nice. Moving over here, you're gonna get your controls and presets for the radio and your climate controls. Heated seats in here, obviously. You'll get a wireless charging mount, and this is an interesting thing. So you can control the radio with this little dial on here, or, and you can kind of move back and forth on it, or you can just use it as a touchscreen. Now, I personally think the touchscreen's a little bit more of an intuitive way to use it, but a lot of the BMWs and Mercedes, they use this kind of dial design. I think that's a little bit more distracting. I get that, you're up on the road more, your eyes are a little bit more level if you're using this, but I think it would be just as easy to just hit the button on the screen, so I think that would be pretty cool. I really like the hazard button placement right here in the center of the climate vents. I also really like how the climate vents are. It's kind of this one continuous silver streak across the dash here, which I think is cool. Moving up here, you do get your dome lights, obviously, and your SOS emergency calling. And then moving back here, the leather on here is so comfortable, really nice. You do get an electronic parking brake. I think I'd hope maybe a little bit more for a traditional parking brake in a sports car like this, but it's give and take. The rest of this car is so cool regardless. And then finally, for the big interior features, moving into the gauge cluster here, you do have a lot of features that are on here, and you can kind of configure this gauge cluster to how you would want it. One really cool thing I really like about this is your fuel economy, your engine temperature and stuff. That's on the left and the right, and there are these little tiny slots, these little lines on it. I think that's a really unique way to say how much fuel you have left and stuff in the car, so that's really neat. Overall, in this interior, it's incredibly comfortable. Obviously, it is only a coupe. It's a two-seater, no back seats. I'm glad there's no back seats because nobody would have room back there. I think it would even be tight for a little kid to be sitting back there. But overall, these seats, you sink into them, very, very comfortable. They're power. I guess the last thing I can touch upon while we're in here is you do have your sport modes in here, which you can adjust. That'll adjust on the gauge cluster. Your automatic stopping at red lights. So if you hit this, if you turn this on, what it'll do is when you come to a red light, it'll automatically shut the engine off to preserve fuel economy. And you can turn that off if you'd like. But yeah, I mean, overall, you have the Toyota safety sense in here. It's pretty, there's not a huge button layout, but this car is more focused on racing and speed and stuff like that. Overall, I think that about wraps up this interior in here. I didn't plan anything beforehand, so I'm kind of going off the cuff. But I've pretty much talked about everything. Very simplistic in here, very race-focused, very driver-centric. But that's really all you need in the Supra. I think that it is an excellent design in here, though it does part share maybe a little too much with certain elements in the BMW. Honestly, like I said before, I think if this was more of a Toyota shifter on here, I wouldn't notice the rest of the BMW-esque things in here.
One more thing I forgot to mention in the Supra, it does have a heads-up display on here with your speed and what the speed limit is. I think that's so cool. More cars should incorporate that. I really, really like that. So, unfortunately, this Supra is actually pre-purchased, so I can't drive it officially on the road. The most I can do for this video is drive it back to the front of the dealership, but I figure I'd at least give you guys that much. This was a really quick opportunity. I didn't plan to do this Supra at all today, so I figured, oh, well, cool. Even if I have the opportunity to just be able to pull it up and do the review, I think that that's a great opportunity too. This thing, I can feel it has power that it just wants to open up. And I'm not going to open it up in respect for the gentleman that purchased it. It's just such an honor to be able to even review this car, even without getting a full driving dynamics on this car. Hopefully, eventually, someday I'll be able to do that where I get to take it out on a track or something, or other supercars and stuff and sports cars. But I think that this was just such an awesome opportunity. And, for parking lot driving, it handles pretty good.
Thank you guys so much for watching this little overview, this tour of the 2021 Toyota Supra. I think that's going to wrap it up. If you guys have any prayer requests, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. I'm a Christian, and I feel like that's a way I can give back to you guys because you're more than just viewers to me. You're people, and I care about you. So if you have stuff going on in your lives, I want to be able to pray that. And if you guys are looking for any Toyota, you can visit Koch 33 in Easton, Pennsylvania, right off of Route 33, or I'll leave a link to their website in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I look like Ryan Reynolds. Take care.